everybody. Welcome to the 5th annual international meeting in the village of Sardinia, Akarnania, Greece. Now I would like to announce the president of the staff here to say a few words. And say welcome.
Thank you. Dear friends, as the president of our foundation, I would like to welcome you all to our small village, Sardinia, for our 5th annual meeting. Since 2013, we have paid the pleasure of organizing this annual meeting in order to discuss issues that concern very small localities, such as this one we're here today. The subject of this year's meeting is the future of the village in a global world, international experiences assessments. We have 6 speakers from 5 different countries to talk to us about different themes, but with a common underlying factor of regard of the future. This future is shaped first by exploring the potential of new technologies, but at the same time by looking at what other localities around the world to do to shape their own future. Today's program reflects these 2 very important issues. It's nicely balanced between the 2 issues of technology and practices. ETAF's initiatives satisfy our mission to give opportunity to friends from all around the world to visit our village. We would like to make our village known with the hope that this will help us to develop in the future. ETAF's founding mission is to make this area known to as many people as possible by inviting them to visit the area of Akarnania. The annual meeting is in the village of Sardinia serves this purpose. The area of Akarnania, in particular its traditional village like Sardinia, have not been affected by the booming of Greek tourism of the last half-century. The purpose of this meeting is not promotion as a development. On the contrary, the future of this area lies in doing what has been done for thousands of years, with the added benefit of new technologies and international experience. The aim of this combination is to promote productivity without undermining the natural beauty of the area, which is an essential characteristics. Unlike other areas of Greece, this area is very rich in clean waters, fauna and flora. It combines the natural beauty of forests with the unparalleled beauty of the Ambracian Gulf. I'd like to close by reading an excerpt from the article by Rufus Richardson published in 1901 in the American Geographical Society. Since I took my first hasty glimpse of Akarnania and Anatolia in 1894, that reach has drawn me powerfully, and I have made 4 other visits there, more careful and longer in duration than the first. The particular charm which I felt first entering is called upon me with each fresh visit. It's a neglected corner of Greece. Not 1 in 500 of the strangers who visit Greece think of paying a visit passing from Akarnania. I wish you a nice time here and hope to see you again in future meetings, probably next year in 2018. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Lambos Piliotris would also like to welcome you.
Mr. President, αγαπητέ Θωμάχη Χωριού Παπανίκο, dear presenters, dear all, congratulations to ITAFAP on the 5th anniversary of the Sardinia meeting. Congratulations for organizing this particular scientific meeting today, which forwards the discussions toward our of the Greek Society of Regional Scientists 20th conference next June 2018. Well, what future for our villages? In a global world, not flat at all, as Samuel Friedman rushed to proclaim in 2005, while since the beginning of the new millennium, divisions are getting back more and more relevant. Prescribing a promising future, a unique feature of our post-digital villages is that, like the electricity smart microgrids, they are automatically transferred to islanded, namely resilient mode, and resynchronized upstream. However, I couldn't find a better way to express my recourse to a smarter future for our villages than this famous quote by the English of 18th century poet Alexander Pope. Alexander Pope is well known from his translations of Homer. Iliad, which appeared in between 1715 and 1720, was a great economic success. Actually, Pope made a vast amount of money, and he bought a villa at the wealthy Twickenham in West London, where he lived a rich life. So he was a clever economic agent as well. Consult the genius of the place at all. May the genius loci, the spirit of Sardinia, give us perfect, amazing presentations today at the perfect day at all. Thank you.
So let's pass to the presentation part, and first presenter for today is Dr. Sinan Agun, head of our research activity.
We don't know what's the country of that activity.
It's going to remain a mystery. It is going to remain a mystery, isn't it? Yes, I think Madam President, Madam Chair suggested earlier from 5 different countries. In fact, it's 6 because I was born in Turkey but raised in Australia. So really, I represent two countries. Firstly, Mr. President, Madam Chair, the hosts of this wonderful, inspiring place, gorgeous location. I'd like to thank you for the invitation to address you today, to speak to you a little bit about my experience. As I mentioned, I was born in Turkey. I enjoyed traveling a lot. My family migrated to Australia. I lived 40 years in Australia. But during that period, I had a great deal of insight into Asia, to the US, to Europe. And I had some experience. I enjoy rural lifestyles, rural livelihoods very much, as opposed to the urban lifestyle. As such, I have taken on a lot of experiences and how I think we need to preserve our rural livelihoods and how we need to restrain our urban sprawl so that the true qualities of living that I often see in rural landscapes, we don't lose. So I'm going to share some of that with you. Now, we're talking about international experiences, so I'm going to maybe give you some of my experiences relating to how we have managed to preserve the rural livelihoods in other regional locations. Now, I'm going to talk to you today about a number of topics. I'm going to talk to you today about sustainability, because whatever we do, I always hold precious to my philosophy, to my psyche, the word sustainability, because unless something is sustainable in every regard, it really doesn't last. It's short-lived. And sustainable, often economic sustainability, ecological, environmental sustainability, most importantly, cultural or societal sustainability, they all have to meet. They all have to meet together in order to give us true future. So if we fulfill the social and the environment, it's bearable. We manage, but soon we become bankrupt. You work on social and economic, well, it's equitable because everybody's rights are preserved, but it still doesn't take in the ecology, which is again a problem most of the world is suffering. The environment and economic, it makes it viable. It makes a business viable, but you lose the cultural key elements. So they all have to meet in order for it to be truly sustainable. Now, so sustainable, we use motherhood statements. Motherhood statements: plant trees, use less toilet paper, try and meet affirmative action, pay people equitably. These are all generic things that make us feel good, but in fact, what I'd like to do is take you a little bit outside the, oops, I don't want to lose the point. Now, what I'd like to do today is just talk about concepts. Socrates, as Gregory mentioned often in our conferences, 15 minutes is all you've got, buddy, because after that you lose your audience. So in 15 minutes I'm going to try and fit, as he put it, Socrates said you can get two concepts, two general concepts, maybe 8 or 9 facts, statistics, and then you can couple of discussion points and come up with a conclusion. So my aim today is not to be too generic, but actually offer this Sardinia, from my experience, a viable proposition as to how we could take this little township, this rural landscape into the 22nd century with a sustainable future. I was keeping this for Turkey in one of my, but I don't like the administration there. Erdogan and I don't get on, so I'm going to use that concept and share it with you. Hopefully we can take it one further forward, but I'm going to keep that till last. That's just my recommendation. Now, before we get into all of that, this word sustainability, get it out of our minds, these motherhood statements. I want you to think outside the box. For instance, this morning or yesterday afternoon, I'm thinking, okay, how do I give sustainable propositions? How do I make people thinking outside the box? However, I thought I will do one better. I'm going to let you listen to 2 pieces of music, very short, 20-30 seconds each, very similar, and I want you to tell me, I'll probably ask 2 or 3 of you, how sustainability has impact on this. So do you think we could probably, Daniel Barenboim, maybe some of you know him as a piano virtuoso, very talented person. He does Beethoven sonatas, in my opinion, beautifully. I want you to listen to 2 similar propositions and tell me how they vary massively in sustainability. Try and think outside the box. Let's listen to this. I want you to think, while I try and get this connected, that there are 2 versions. One is 1983, he's playing the same sonata, and the other is 2013. Same man, same sonata, same brand of piano. Steinway and Sons, probably the most, one second.
As soon as we are deaf, how you will present us?
I would let you sit next to the speaker and put your hand on the speaker. Okay, we're nearly there. I've connected, and on my phone, and I'm going to connect now to Daniel, and we're going to listen to his 1983 version. Okay, see if you can hear it as best you can. Not possible. Well, that was, you can't hear it, yeah. That was going to be my highlight because it's a beautiful piece of sonata. It's played beautifully in both of them. Often, I think there's no difference, but there is a difference. And the difference is this. You're going to, more than likely, if you'd heard it, you're going to say, they both sound really nice. It's both played with emotion and everything about it is great. But there's one difference. In the 1983 version that we see him playing, he's using a piano. Steinway used to use the ivory keyboards. Okay, the keyboards were made out of elephant ivory. In the 2013 version, he's just using plastic keyboards. So in essence, it sounds the same, it gives you the same amount of pleasure, but it is unsustainable because in the 83 version, there have been estimated to be 100,000 elephants killed on Earth just so we can listen to this music. Totally unnecessary. Totally unnecessary. We hear the same beautiful music played on plastic keyboards. So the idea was to suggest to you that everything, whilst on the face, sounds beautiful, looks beautiful, but you need to think twice, okay, before you assess what is sustainable. So there's that beautiful piece of music going on by the wayside. So based on that fact, I'll just continue now and literally suggest to you that when we talk about sustainable, please look further than just what's in front of us. Paper is better than plastic, and this is water, clean waters. Think a little bit outside the box and realize that sometimes what's not seen is the most important part. So, moving on from sustainable, so whatever we suggest, whatever we discuss today, wherever we go in the next 21st century, let's be sustainable first. Rural livelihoods, what we suffer today. What's the minutes like? 10 minutes gone yet?
Yeah.
9, good. Okay, so, rural livelihoods. Sardinia is suffering what the rest of the world is suffering. It's no different. The whole globe is looking for ways to strengthen their economies, provide better quality of life, and build on local assets. Now, our president mentioned that I speak now because I keep coming here, I'm part of the countryside. We have great assets here, clean water, unusual flora, unique flora and fauna. We have healthy living. This is a very, very important asset in a world that is declining every day. So the challenges that the world is facing together with Sardinia is rapid growth, metropolitan edges, declining rural populations, all the youth. I don't know, more than I can guess that the majority of the youth has moved out of here into city centres looking for jobs we want to draw that back. They grow up and they say, why did I leave that healthy living style so that I could make money, so that I can spend the money trying to get my health back, travelling back into the country? Weird, but we need to make them realise this before they leave. How can I preserve this lifestyle so that I can continue to live healthy and allow my kids to live healthy? So, looking at Sardinia, it is no different, as we said. We need to find a product that is unique. So, we already suggested, I've come here 3 times, and I've enjoyed, or the region at least 3 times, I've enjoyed and I asked myself, thinking objectively, what is it about this place that gives me a refreshment? What is it about this place that I enjoy coming back? And that's what we need to grab, and that's what we need to develop sustainably. So my suggestion, generally, not just for me, but generally in the rural public, what do we think when we say rural? What do we imagine? We imagine healthy living. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I want your inputs, but without too much debate. We'll debate later. Rural, you imagine healthy living, you imagine food security. Because every time we think of food, we think of cows getting milked, we think of sheep grazing, we think of crops being irrigated so that we can eat a healthy. So food security. I don't think we can survive on food grown on rooftops of urban landscapes. So we also think of tranquil, serene landscapes. And we think of ethical communities. We seem to find ethics here. We don't often feel we're going to get our car stolen or our iPhones ripped off. But every time I go to the loo in Starbucks in the city centre, I make sure I don't leave my computer behind. So we think ethics when we think of. So these are the assets I feel we need to take into consideration when we look into the future. I'm going to move very quickly for the rest. I'm going to give you this concept. This is my concept for developing rural regional countrysides in Turkey. But as I said, I don't like Erdogan, so I'm doing an AB project at the moment, EU project at the moment, which the results of which look fantastic. I'm going to keep them so that I can share them with Gregory and the rest of you. So, and that's this healthy land. I'll tell you a little bit about it later because I think I'm going to run out of time. So, as we think about rural relations in the future, while we think of whatever agenda we're going to use, we have to think that the people living here have the skills to pursue that. So there's no use me coming to the region and saying, listen, I've got just the product for you, healthy land, people are going to buy it. All you've got to do is produce it and then leave. the people here have to be equipped to understand exactly what that product is. They need to have the right skills in order to be able to develop that business. They need to have the know-how for regional successful enterprises. So they need to be able to also parlay that training into high income generating livelihoods. So we can't just say to them, best of luck, here's the product. We have to make sure that their skills in communication, cheese making, organic healthy meat, alternative healthy lifestyles, whatever the product is, you have to ensure that the training for that happens so that the person or the people or the community has that skill so that they can then sell it. They can literally sell it. So my suggestion is not only produce the product, but also sell the training. People are going to come here to get the training in order to sell the product. Effective rural programs. So we can talk about training later as to how you engage people. Now, very quickly, project partners. You have to ensure that you can't just do this enclosed, covered. You have to keep people involved. You have to get big business involved in doing things that help their consumer base. So you have to say that it pays. You have to say to them, IBM is often used, Samsung, whoever. You have to say to them, it pays for you to be partners with us because you're going to look good, because you're going to be partnering with something that's got a clean image, good image, healthy image. You can say, yeah, sure, I'll invest in that because my products will be synonymous with yours. So you need to include private sector, but you also have to include government agencies. You have to get the municipality involved so that they say, hey, listen, you've got a great product. Why don't you just have this land? We don't do anything with it. 2,000 acres. Take the land, use the product, grow the industry here so that then we can benefit by collecting more taxes or whatever. Or we feel good, or I get re-elected. Use whatever you want to use, but get them involved. The brand. You have to also think about the brand. So that requires a bit of market research. When this little group subcommittee gets going and you want my input, I'm happy to help you grow the brand, because the brand is what makes you think immediately. It's what makes you empathize. So
can I stop this guy talking about my presentation?
No, he's introducing you.
I'm leading the way to you. I'm introducing you. So I'm going to stop there.
By Dr. George, professor at Iona College, New York, USA.
Okay, Thomas and Gregory and Olga, thank you very much for the invitation. This is really an amazing place, physically and otherwise. Now I have to apologize to Sinat. I didn't mean it, it wasn't planned. You can see it, from my the title of the presentation. Right? You stole everything from me. I had nothing to add. And I was very glad, by the way, that the speakers didn't work, because it has been really a very tough act to follow. Anyway, I'm George George. I have a dual background too, in the sense that I was born in Athens, in Greece. And for the past 40 years, I've been living in New York and teaching at Iona College in New York. And the title of what I would like to talk about is branding, actually. Exactly where you stop. Perfectly involuntarily. Yeah, but first, let me say something, because this was not a revelation exactly, but it was more like a reinforcement of what I thought it would be. I asked two young ladies there at the reception desk at the Oscar Hotel, tell me 3 things about this place that make it unique, special. And they had difficulty, as I expected them to have, to identify those 3 things that are special about this place. Not Sardinia, but Akarnania. And that goes exactly to the heart of your argument, in all seriousness now, and my presentation. Yes, you have to identify those things that make your place special. And those 3 things, or 2 things, or whatever, they have to be very unique to the place. It can be just like the girls told me, oh, it's a beautiful place. Physically, it's close to the water. The food is great. Imagine millions of places can claim the same things. So you have to be very unique about what you're doing. Talking about branding, I was prepared to face possible objections. I'm in business, people thought would say, branding? Are we making this place a commodity? A product? Sinan used the word sell. That sounds too dirty to some people. Sell a place? And you know, this is the essence of the talk about branding. So very quickly, without being too esoteric, without being too conceptual, theoretical, what can brand do to a place? Can establish a desired, distinct position in the global market, which could contribute to sustainable economic development, as well as enhance the political influence, the soft power, people sometimes refer to it as soft power, and facilitate partnerships with other localities. To the extent that many businesses leverage their product's place of origin, a top-of-mind place image should also help increase the perceived quality of local products or services and improve the financial performance of local businesses. That was the presentation. We already talked about that. What's a brand? We use this term, actually all of us. Sometimes we don't know exactly what it means. It's a name, a term, a sign, a symbol, or design, or a combination, most likely, of all of those things, intended to identify the goods and services of one seller and to differentiate them from those of other sellers. This is the official American Marketing Association definition. In plain words, branding has two purposes. To serve as a tool for creating product differentiation and to represent a promise of value. We talked a little bit about the differentiation aspect. It's important to recognize also that a brand represents a promise of value. It represents also a reassurance of quality. And many times when we don't know much about the product, we rely on the brand. It's more or less like an informal contract between the seller and the buyer. We all have heard the term brand loyalty. I like this particular term here. We all know people who are crazy about places, like Gregory is about this place. And that's more than just brand loyalty. And this is a term that, like I said before, stuck in my mind. Extreme cases of brand loyalty, you can think of them as a love mark. It's a love affair between Gregory and Sardinia, between you and Australia, I guess, right? Correct. Now, this is an interesting sort of detail. It's not actually a detail. It leads us to a better understanding of what is the process of branding. The difference between an image and an identity. A place-side image is formed through education, the media, travel, and obviously purchases. The product, some of those images are stereotypes, as we all know. On the other hand, a place identity is what a place believes it is. And in most cases, there is a vast gap between the two. What the outsiders think of you and what you think of your own place. So branding is the effort to bridge that particular gap between the image and the identity. This is something very important, obviously. How can you, I don't know, how many people you have in Sardinia, population?
100. God sure one.
Even those 100 people, a very small population, how do you make them all buy into the particular brand that you want to give the place? It's not easy at all. Now, there have been authors who suggest, there has to be a lot of soul searching. I understand that, obviously. But in places like Greece, when you have 100 people population, you have about 150 opinions. How can you have this kind of agreement, even after a lot of soul searching? That's something that I don't know the answer to. I'm just providing the question. Now, especially about, there are specific limitations when it comes to small places like this. Obviously, they come to mind, the limitation of resources, financial and otherwise. Technology these days is actually helpful. It's not a barrier anymore. Everybody, even a small place, can make itself known to the rest of the world very easily. Another limitation is the experience that a small place and its government and its population has when it comes to branding action. You're going to have a lot of people who say, no, we don't need that. We have a brand. The answer to that, obviously, is that brand might not be what you want the brand to be. It is formed by outsiders, as I was suggesting before. Maybe you need to interfere to make it more close to what you want it to be. And that's the essence. A systematic effort to brand. Now, I want to conclude by going back to the questions that you raised. And I want to have, I don't know, how many of you have any local roots here? Not necessarily Sardinia, but you are from the greater area?
No, from Sicily.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes, anybody else? Then I rely on you.
No, they're outsiders completely. They have nothing to do with that.
I'm not going to ask them to talk about Sardinia. Didn't I say before you have 100 Greeks when you have 150 opinions? Okay. Three things that make this area, not this place, this area unique, in your opinion.
Speaking about mythology, history, of course, what happened in 1826.
Okay, history is one.
The lagoon,
Yes.
which is rather unique. And what else? A combination of history and religious artifacts, old monasteries, and everything in the area.
Okay.
If I have to say three.
Are there any places in Turkey that can claim pretty much the same treatment?
Yes. They can.
That's exactly my point. Right? We have to come up with more specific, very unique elements. Now, I'm sure that if we search a little bit deeper into the history part, into the all the other things that you mentioned, we can come up with those things. But you know, this is an indication of what I was talking about before. The need to become very specific, to become very unique about what we claim. Otherwise, the competition is overwhelming. We're not going anywhere. So that's my question.
Thank you very much.
This is for Dr. Sofis, Professor and Chair at the Software Engineering Program of Seidenberg School of Computer Science and Information Systems at Page University, USA.
I'm a product of both educational systems, a Greek one because I graduated from the University of Padua, Department of Mathematics, and then I did my master's degree in artificial intelligence in New Jersey, and my PhD in Chicago in software engineering, and I have also a great interest in music and mathematics. That was my undergraduate thesis. Actually, I was very, very fortunate to have one of the members of my committee, Yannis Xenakis. Probably you know the famous architect, mathematician, composer, and so on. So I'm very grateful for the invitation. This is my second time here. Last year I was in the audience only. I'd like to thank ITATHAP, I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting me, and I will give you another perspective, not from marketing point of view, not from branding, but probably from technology. Technology is responsible for good things. In my opinion, also comes with some bad things, but let's be positive today and focus on the good things. So let's see how technology can help small villages or rural areas. We know the paradigm has been to some extent implemented in cities, and I think the first city in Greece, this is the city where I have my summer house in Chalkida, Evia, has been declared the first smart city, along with Trikala, I believe, in Greece, where they have implemented a lot of new technologies, and they help you find or locate the parking space. They know where there is an empty spot and things like that. But I would like to see, and I would like to discuss with you how villages can get some help from technology. So pretty much the definition that we have agreed upon is a smart village is basically the synergetic relationship between a local living environment and the necessary technological infrastructure that allows it to provide a high quality, healthy, satisfactory, secure, and sustainable, talking about sustainability before, lifestyle to the inhabitants and improve, intensify the local life process. I grew up in Mesologi. I was born in Athens, grew up in Mesologi, studied in Patras, did my master's in New Jersey, lived in Chicago, now I live in New York. So pretty much I have experienced all kinds of environments. It's hard. Living in a rural area is hard. There are not a lot of opportunities for entertainment, for education, for all kinds of things. Those of us that we grew up in those places, we know. So how can we let technology help? Before I talk about technology in smart villages, I would like to, the new big thing, the Internet of Things. As you know, Internet so far has been started in the early 70s actually. I was exposed to I got my first email in 1990, September 1990. Very primitive, of course, with modems, 2400 modems there, very, very slow. And Internet is a bunch of computers connected either via wire or wireless and talk to each other, communicate with each other. So the question is, what is Internet of Things now? What's the next step? A generally accepted definition, the Internet of Things describes a worldwide network of billions or even trillions of objects / devices that can be collected from the worldwide physical environment, propagated via the Internet and transmitted to end users. In other words, Internet of Things is the connectivity of devices, okay? Not only computers anymore. So for example, to give you a very simplistic picture, your refrigerator, becoming a smart refrigerator, will be able to calculate how many eggs you have, how much milk you have in there, and if you run a low, through certain threshold, then it will send a signal to the local supermarket to order milk for you or order eggs or anything else. So, again, that's a very simplistic example. Services are available to users to interact with these smart objects over the internet, query their states as well as their associated information, and even control their actions. So, technology can give us quite a few things right here. Is the future technology communications is the key behind the smart cities and villages concept. All right, so it enables all the objects in a system to behave in a smart way. They interact and coordinate with each other for smooth functioning of the entire system. And I think it will be interesting to see how this can be applied to a small village. The objects that are connected via wireless network, of course, we have some certain technologies, RFID, 3S, the global positioning system, the wireless sensors, technology, cloud computing. Cloud computing, for example, is a very useful one because right now, I was here in Athens in May, and I was sitting having coffee at the cafeteria. They stole my phone. They stole my iPhone. Thankfully, I had everything on the cloud, so once I realized that, I deactivated the phone, erased all the data remotely, and then I downloaded, I got the new one. Of course, I paid $800 in New York to get it, but I downloaded everything, and I have, in one day I was up and running again. So, here's the picture of this. This is the Internet of Things. Connect any place, gather up anything, process any information, serve any object, collect any data, communicate with any network. Data collection and data analysis is a field in software engineering or nowadays or computer science that is gaining a lot of momentum because we collect data and believe it or not, we don't know what to do with it. Or we don't have the capabilities to analyze it and make smart decisions. That's one of the big problems. I remember I was like 4 or 5 years ago, I was in Chicago for a conference, and they said the city of Chicago has so much data collected which could help and facilitate transportation, the quality of life, but still they don't have the means to analyze the data and extract useful information. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on those because it's more technology, radio frequency identification, the microchips attached to this device, the global positioning system, everybody's and the GIS, the graphical information system, which will be very useful for smart villages. Wireless sensor networks are the kind of technologies that right now we're utilizing to get this. So, before I get to smart villages, let's take a look at the picture. Smart city. Of course, a city is a different ballgame because it has a lot of resources, more money, more people contributing to its finances and so on. So we have open data, smart retail, groceries, smart mobility, smart health system, smart government. I doubt about that, but anyway, when it comes to government, yeah, I know. Well, that's the ideal. I mean, keep in mind that this picture is the ideal picture. So, and of course, grid, smart grid, the energy education, smart homes, so you can turn on your air conditioner on the way home without, and when you get there, everything is cool. So, from smart city to smart village, which is the main topic for this discussion. So the first step is designing a smart village will be the identification of all the objects which will communicate with each other. What small places like Sardinia, like villages of this size will need. Then we need a large number of sensors, surveillance cameras, buttons, switches for emergency and other fixed devices that have to be installed. And this sensor device will be connected to the internet and produce huge amounts of data which can be then stored and processed on cloud servers. That will make the life of people here easier. For example, you have a livestock. Right now, you can get your bike or your SUV or your car and go out and try to see where the animals are and everything. You have a small drone from your cell phone, you let it fly, you collect information, you count your your livestock and make sure everything is okay without having to go there, and you can spend more time doing other productive things instead of just traveling back and forth to remote areas. So this data can be analyzed. You know, there are many tools like Hamdoop and so on. The eventual goal is to achieve smart homes, weather systems, very crucial for villages, education, surveillance systems, and smart agriculture, among others. So this is where technology can really help rural areas. Smart buildings. Okay, detect fire, security cameras, water levels, electricity management, smart weather and irrigation, very crucial for villages. What's going to happen the next few hours or the next few days, so you can plan when are you going to do things. Smart dairy, remote supervision and monitor through smart devices, so you don't have to go out there. Smart healthcare, that's one of the topics that we can really use some help, because, you know, living in a small village, getting access to quality healthcare probably requires you to go like an hour away or an hour and a half away to the nearest city to get a good hospital or a good doctor. And it's even worse if we consider the Greek islands. We are like kind of isolated there, and you know, if it's bad weather or thunderstorm or something like that, then it's really, really difficult. So smart healthcare is an important, very important issue. As I will demonstrate in the last slide, nowadays we have the first, like a couple of years ago, the first health ATM has been created in India. Health ATM, an ATM is like you go with your card, insert your PIN, you get some money. The health ATM, you go there, you put your finger, it draws a little bit of blood, measures the sugar in your blood, measures your other important vital factors, and then you can take your pulse, you can take, and also has a screen where the doctor can see you, high definition screen, so you can open your mouth, stick your tongue out, and the doctor can really remotely try to find out what's going on. Yes, I understand it's better to have a personal contact with the doctor, but you know, in certain cases, it's better than nothing. Smart buildings and houses. Homes and buildings can be smart by using of sensors and cameras. Sensors installed in a home can detect smoke and hence start water sprinklers automatically to combat the fire. Sensors can monitor the use of electricity. Security of the building can be monitored. And it's even important in smart village, in smaller villages, because police stations are rare. I mean, you find the police station every like 50 miles or 20 miles or whatever. By the time something happens to your house and the local police station is notified, it will take at least half an hour or 1 hour for the police to come to your place. So, smart weather, that's another. Majority of population villages engaged in agriculture. Okay, that's normal and for their living. The use of environmental sensors to predict weather forecasts can help farmers to a large extent. They should know what's coming up the next few days, next few weeks, the next few days, or even the next few hours, so they can protect their farms. The many farming activities like sowing, irrigation, harvesting depends on weather. Smart irrigation system can make use of sensors in the field and remote satellite data to ensure the optimal use of available water resources, for example. Water is not always available, and we have to make very careful use of it. So remote sensors can really tell you when and how much water you need to use in order to make the best use possible. If it's going to rain the next day, the watering of fields on that day makes no sense, for example. All right? So if you know that in a 2 days' time there will be like some huge rain, don't water the fields. Just wait a couple more days. Smart farming. And agriculture is the backbone of all villages. Farmers need to benefit the most. So, Internet of Things in agriculture has become one of the fastest growing fields in technology. Today, farmers, ranchers, and conservationists need a method to more effectively utilize and conserve resources. Sensors are deployed in the fields can help farmers with information regarding selecting the crop to sow, yielding a yield prediction of crops based on the type of soil or climate, watering requirements based on, again, on the soil and weather prediction, using smart drip-based irrigation systems, application of fertilizers according to the nutrient content of the soil. So it's not like every soil you can use any fertilizer. Depending on the chemical information of the soil, you can pick the best fertilizer for your field. To crop diseases and pesticides can also be predicted using data from sensors, taken from remote satellites. Farmers can get up-to-date information on their mobile phones. In case of emergencies, alert systems can be activated and provide immediate actions. For example, consider the case of wheat crop which is ready to harvest, and a small spark can set the whole field ablaze. Then what? I mean, this farm is destroyed, it happens, and cause huge losses to the farmers. Environmental sensors can detect smoke on the onset of a fire and start the water sprinklers immediately to control the fire and avoid extreme loss. There will be some loss, but at least loss will be minimized. So, and alert, of course, likewise, sensors can detect a ripening of the vegetables and fruits and alert the transport to go faster and so on. More examples: monitor moisture, soil quality, fertilizer levels, climate control, weather forewarning, optimize warehousing and plant storage can lead to direct benefits to the farmers and landowners. Things that we didn't have many years ago or a few years ago, and now are within reach. Of course, they need some investment, but ultimately, I think we should go there. A solution designed to optimize the usage of water during irrigation, monitor and control consumption of fuel in the tractors, sensors that are connected to the cows, sheep, hens, and other animals to monitor and report any contagious diseases, based on the observation of these animals. Real-time reporting of crucial farming data can help in fine-tuning, time of harvesting, etc., etc. So again, I'm going rather quickly through all these just to give you a brief idea what can be done. So the near future could be like drones flying over, smart tractors here to preserve fuel, monitoring the animals. Each animal can have like an RFID, so we can know where they are at any given point, and drones to monitor their behavior. So a veterinarian who can take a look at the animals and figure out if they have any kind of problem and so on. Government, though, has to design a direct technology transfer scheme to villas where the solutions are customized for the needs of local community. So we need, at some point, we need the government, the central government, the local government, to help facilitate this technology transfer. Livestock monitoring, again, I talked about that. Combination of sensor, wireless IoT, Internet of Things applications, track the health, well-being, and location of the animal. So people who know what's going on. We can identify sick animals, based on their behavior, the way they walk, and so on, the way they move. It's pretty obvious that something is wrong with them, so we can immediately take some action. Smart education. Let's talk about, so far we looked at fields, livestock. Let's talk about people. Education basically means to implement all the advancements in life. So, educating people about the use of new technologies facilitates better implementation. It can be the force behind reducing the digital divide, which is more prevalent in villages than the cities. In the cities, people, young kids or young adults have more access to education, which is not the case in. So we can use what we call smart education and help educate people in the villages. The whole idea of smart villages revolves around its people and how efficiently they make use of the components of a smart village. So pretty much everything we have to have, it has to lead to a better lifestyle in order to be sustainable, because sustainability is a very, very important thing. Internet of Things brings together different technologies, mobile devices, smart devices, and so on. A couple more slides and I'm done. Smart dairy, we already talked about that. It's secondary occupation of large number of farmers is rearing cattle for dairy products. The use of sensors and cameras in the barn or shelter can help the farmers in better management of their work. When they should go there, when they should collect the milk, and so on. Food, water, health necessities of the cattle can also be monitored in a similar fashion. So grazing the cattle in the open fields is a risky thing if there is no one to supervise it. Utilizing small drones that fly around the fields, you can monitor the cattle and know at any given point where they are. Okay, and smart healthcare. This is what I was talking about before. Smart healthcare services are needed to improve the quality of life in villages. The village dispensaries and hospitals need advanced devices which are connected to each other and the doctor. Usually it's difficult to get to a doctor or a hospital if you live in a village. It will take you either an hour or more, and sometimes, again, if you are on a remote or a small island, it may even be more difficult than that. Basic hospital can be embedded with sensors, can detect various things in the patient, including its movements, heartbeat, blood flow, and from the roots and body temperature and so on. So even the hospitals can be improved by using smart beds, where each bed monitors the data of the patient. CT scans, all data related to the patient can be collected separately and forwarded to the doctor to make the best decision. And this is what I was talking about, the health ATM. It's pretty much, yes, yeah, this is the last slide anyway. It's trying solutions in villages. You always the company that's doing that. This is health ATM that allows you to become proactive about your health and set your key parameters, blood count, BMI, etc. So just connect there. There's a high definition screen here with camera. You can see the doctor here. The doctor can talk to you. You can use the ATM for very fundamental measurements and so on. And I believe this surveillance system, I think I have. So the conclusion, last slide, 2 years ago the idea of Internet of Things and smart cities used to be considered as a future possibility, but now it has become a reality. It is here due to the technological advancement. Many countries have deployed the job of turning their cities into smart cities, and many organizations, and finally, ever-increasing populations have restrained the resources and their usage. So I feel Internet of Things combines the benefits of multi-technologies to realize the idea of intelligent devices in the city and promote sustainability. So I think, thank you very much.
Associate Professor at the University of Technology of Hungary and Sorbonne University.
I'm very happy to be here, because it seems to me that it's a real bridge between my little village of Paris and this big country of Greece. This is my title. It's not a misspelling, localization, and it's not telecommunication, but it's telecommuting. So it's commuting, but commuting with telework or remote work, for example. And this is ongoing research, applied research study. So I will give you only some first result on this ongoing research. No. So Pascal Olivier, this is useless utilization and query design. What am I going to talk to you about? First, I have to precise that I'm globally ignorant about this subject. I'm not at all a specialist of rural economy, because I'm an economist, a socio-economist, but at the same time I've been working on computational linguistics, so you will don't be worried. It will not look like an economist show. This one is better. So, how I'm going to do, since I'm ignorant on the subject, personally, me, myself, well, I'm going to rely on other people's intelligence, but I don't want to trust experts, because we trust experts much too much. I'm going to try to trust what is generally called collective intelligence. Collective intelligence. Well, collective intelligence is not an obvious concept, and most of the time it's not a real phenomena in reality. What do we see in reality as far as collectivity and intelligence? In general, we in university context, we see individuals who are smart and the organization who collectively is quite dumb, quite stupid, right? Like the bureaucratic organization. In France, we are specialized in having smart people, and when they get together, they get bureaucratic and quite stupid. So what can be collective intelligence? As a French, I should be quite ignorant about the subject. So to try to understand what it is, I relied on collective intelligence, but not around myself, not around my university community, but around the one on the web. Okay, so I'm going to look on the social web, but not any social web, to try to compensate my personal ignorance on the subject. I told you the social web, but not any social web. At first, we looked at what everybody looks at when they do studies like web traffic. We're talking about Facebook and Twitter, etc. When we did that on this digital field, the results were very bad. So I was ignorant, and I faced myself when looking at Facebook and Twitter. Collectively, people were quite ignorant, and what they say were quite clueless senses. So after we looked at the social web material a little more qualitatively, and I discovered Reddit. I don't know if who knows Reddit. That's one here. Nobody? Yeah, a little bit. Okay. Well, 2 years ago I didn't know it. This is the first social web platform in North America, and basically it's a forum. Basically it's a forum, very low-tech environment where people discuss of things, and it's auto-regulated. It has to have a coordinator of the forum. It's a constraint, you know. You cannot open a forum if one, and in general many, 2-3 persons are responsible for animating and potentially controlling what people say. But it's not somebody who's paid for that. It's, you know, a volunteer. And what is interesting about this field work, digital field work, is that Reddit has much more argumentative discussion than in Twitter or even Facebook. And we discovered that Twitter, Facebook was much more into the buzz stuff, when Reddit was much more into a little deeper kind of discussion. So it was more interesting for us to do this trial of digital ethnology, what people say in their own context, on this Reddit stuff than other stuff. Okay, so collective intelligence. My bet was that we could find, and we could try to find, collective intelligence about this subject on Reddit. Now, let's go back to global, because I talked to you about globalization. What is globalization if it's not a misspelling? Well, it's us here. It's where we are. Why? The most simple way to see it, for myself, is one of the rare positive things about Europe. Do you know what happened on the 17th of July? As a major historical event for European citizens. Well, roaming from the 17th of July is forbidden in Europe.
What is forbidden?
Roaming. Roaming.
Women.
Inside Europe, you cannot be taxed additionally when you go from one country to another. For me, as an experience, a personal, that's one, and this, one aspect of globalization when being here. Because being here, I sent a mail with my cellular phone without more being taxed, as if I sent a mail from Paris to Compiègne, where I live. It's a low-tech stuff. It's not extraordinary, but as a matter of practice, I can have a geographical presence here, material presence here, and at the same time I can have a remote presence with my permanent digital connection whereby I am with myself. This is a little idea about it.
When you say tax, you mean overpriced, not taxed.
Overpriced, yes, or overtaxed, I don't know how to say it. Yeah, overpriced. Well, formerly it was so expensive that actually when I came to Greece, I couldn't talk to people in France or all over the world.
So the people in France were happy.
Yes, yes, you're right. You're right. You're right. And my children were happy also. Now I can be absent, even here. Okay, digital technology, what can that be? Well, I'm not going to give, of course, what technology is, because I'm not very specialized, but what I mean by that is that this field that is the web, and most precisely is the field that consists in the social web, well, I'm trying to read it, to listen to it in an ethnomethodology way, meaning I don't put judgment. Okay, I'm only trying to see what people do, and what they do is what do they say. Okay, and I take what they say as my material, scientific material, and I'm trying to see how it makes sense, not for me, not for you, but how it makes sense from the point of view of the people who say it. So that's basically what I take from the ethnomethodology posture. And at least as a matter of introduction, well, as far as methodology is concerned, ethnomethodology on the digital, okay, but there is another originality on this methodology, is quality-quantity. Do you know that in the sociology field and in the economical field, there is this war between quantitativists and qualitativists? I want to go through this war and trying to make quality-quantity research. And you're going to see what it looks like. And for summarizing, for adding this introduction, I'm searching for weak signals. I'm not searching for what people say in average. I'm searching of what people say that can be different. And the methodology I use, the tool I use, unlike econometrics, that is the main tools of economists, who tell you the average trend. I'm not interested in average trend. I'm interested in bizarre things. And I'm trying to find bizarre things on a subject. Okay. Most of the time is gone now.
And you have 4 minutes.
4 minutes left.
Yeah, 5.
Okay, so let me show you a picture. This is Franglish. Franglish. So I guess you don't see what is written there, so that you can see anything and you can say anything. These are the results of a computational linguistic treatment on the material abstract from the web with robots who, for me, catched on Reddit what people say on rural development, what people say on telecommuting, and on the synonyms about that, what people say on localization.
Is that different regions of France?
Absolutely not.
No.
It's information mapping. It's geography of information. And this is not a drawing. When I told you about quality-quantity methods, it's calculation of network sciences. So it makes the spatial, geographical space being similar to the semantic space. Okay? That's why you have calculation, but if you cannot interpret that with your brain and with your knowledge, it doesn't make sense. That's what is quality-quantity. Okay? Let's go to some verbatim, what people say. as a sociologist or ethno-sociologist. Let's go to that. Another map. I don't have the time to tell you. One of the things that seems to be the most different issue that people talk about on Reddit is the working nomad, the digital nomad. So what it is people who are working while traveling, and you can see that. I'm sorry, it's very bad, but
it's French.
Sorry,
it's French anyway.
No, it's in French.
I cannot see it. It's in English, but.
So you have very basic things. So people are worried when they work. You know, digital nomads, people who work all over the world, but who are self-employed, who are self-entrepreneur. And digital nomad is a big thing. It's quite trendy right now. And I wanted to have experience to know what people really were doing with that. So we have some fears or some expectations. So one of the main problems is Wi-Fi availability of people. And VPN, I'm very surprised, because some people say that they went to some country, especially in Asia, where actually VPN was prohibited for state pretended security reasons. So one of the interests of Greece and of this village is, as I say, that the state policy as far as security and digital security is quite open. So here you can most of the time have access to VPN. Another thing people worry about when they work while traveling is robbery. And here in Greece and in Toulouse, for example, you could say that it's quite safe as a matter of culture. Unlike when you go to Italy, for example, where the culture of stealing in big cities, that's right. In villages, even there's stealing and robbery is not high. What else? This is not very original for the time. So there's plenty of verbatim. So there's one that says that localization and working nomad is a big revolution, making each village can be a place where you can work. For 2 months, for 3 days, whoever knows. The issue is what kind of benefit can rural territory have from this new population, potential population, global population of working nomad. And I will end by that. What can be the impact or the potential of this working nomad movement on local development? So theoretically, I think it's interesting to have a view of working nomadism as a poly-territorial globalization process. It's very different from the financial globalization. It's people, yes, who take upon the global transportation and global wealth, but who are looking for real rooting, temporary rooting, but real rooting in authenticity of places. And we have some testimony of people. I was very surprised. I didn't ask for that. But some testimony of people who say, I stayed 2 months in a little village, Greek village, close to the, what's this place where we have mountains and monks who are mountains.
Matera.
Yeah, Matera. And I enjoyed it a lot, and I could work from there. The connection is okay, even and the Wi-Fi is okay, even in small hotels, and I could work quite well. And I recommend this. So the issue now is what are the externalities of these digital nomads on local village and local development? It could be predation. They could throw things away, pollute. They could be mean to people. It could be predation. And can it be pollinization? Can it have a positive externality, this movement? And I think it depends on the capability of local territory actors to develop complementary digital services. So which one? It has to be discovered by local people. what kind of initiative can be taken by local people or local institutions to attract these digital nomads and attract their business at the same time? Well, it seems that if we listen to what people say, it seems that one of the main issues is to make visible the existing stuff. It's cheap to do, but to make visible for the P2P generation, for local nomads. You have many forums where people discuss of where it is nice to go to work abroad temporarily. Do you have VPN use? Are people open to English? Is it safe or is it robbery risk, etc., etc.? If we could make that visible on P2P, on forum, not doing big advert, you know, not on tourism agency, but on the P2P world, it may be this visibility the first great thing. Second thing, maybe it would be interesting to try to take initiative, local initiative, to couple local cultures with world digital culture, to try to facilitate the emergence of mixed digital clusters locally. And for ending this synthesis, third type of initiatives that may be interesting is to develop, because people talk a lot about that, to develop some small, not expensive, co-working places in rural places like here, where working nomads and residents could meet and share things, so that there is some positive externalities and not only new tourism. Okay, that's the end, actually.
Thank you.
So now I would like to invite Dr. Barbara Zagaglia, assistant professor at the Polytechnic University delle Marche in Italy.
Thank you very much to the organizer of this beautiful meeting, for inviting me and presenting this study. I am going to talk about peripheral Italy and hospitality, how Riace has contrasted the crime. So, I wanted to answer to this question: if a small-sized city that is set in a weak demographic, economic, and social context can escape the crime and enter a virtuous trajectory of development. I mean society in the broader meaning, as a settlement of whatever demographic dimension that is supplied by a multitude of services to offer favorable living conditions to the population. This is just the translation of an Italian dictionary. So, I'm going to show and discuss the Riace case, that is an Italian example of an alternative, innovative, and ethic strategy of development. This settlement, this small-sized city, faced the challenges of global mass migration, immigration, and using it as an instrument of integration and growth and development. So, I show some results that are part of a national research project funded by the Italian Ministry of Education, University and Research, titled Small-Sized Cities and Social Cohesion, Policies and Practices for the Social and Spatial Inclusion of International Migrants. I was the coordinator of my research union at the University of Ancona. So, where is Riace? Riace is an Italian city in the southern Italy and is set in the Calabria region. This study case fit, according to me, very well with the topic of this meeting, but also with the location, because this territory, Riace, was a territory of a migrant colony that was Colonia. There are two This is very famous for two bronzes, the Riace bronzes that was discovered in 1972 in the sea in front of Riace, and you can see them at the Archaeological Museum of Reggio Calabria. So, I think that the first important thing is to define small city. What does it mean, a small size city? And Riace is a small size city. So, usually scholars and statistical institutions define a small city according to the number of inhabitants. So, a city is small if it has a small number of people. And they fix a threshold to define it. So before it's settled, the city is small. For Italy, the Italian Institute of Statistics set the threshold at 5,000 inhabitants. So, but this approach, according to us, is wrong because the category of small is a relative concept, not absolute concept. What does it mean? It means that a city is big or small, depending on the geographical context. So it depends on the other segment, of the size of the other segment in the geographical context. And this is not a one-dimensional category, but you can consider several different dimensions. We applied, so, a different approach. We developed the a priori approach and chose the choice of the sole demographic dimension. We identified the small size city by an inclusive method, and we take into account many dimensions. They are the variables we consider. What does it mean, different dimension? It means that maybe a city is bigger not only for the number of resident population, but the number, for instance, of resident families, or the number of dwellings in a place. So we consider some of these dimensions at the last census data. So resident population, number of resident families, number of dwellings, the percentage change in population size and in number of resident families, and the densities of population at the last census. So we worked a lot of models, and this is the most significant variables we consider. So according to this method, the municipality of this region has been divided in 6-dimensional groups. Small, 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 medium, small, medium, medium, large, and large municipalities. So 6 groups, dimensional groups. And Riace is belongs to group 1, so is the smallest small city, according to our method. So, what about the economy? First the space, now the economy. So, this region has a very, very low employment rate. You can read the figures for Calabria, the region, and the average for the Calabria, and the average for Italy. So low employment rate, high unemployment rate, especially among young populations. This is the last figures. Italy, the unemployment rate was 40.3%. In Calabria, 65%. It's very high. So, and another characteristic is the high employment in agriculture, low wages, and another extremely important characteristic, a strong presence of informal economy and illegal labor organization. What is about demography? There are some trends. This is the census the size of resident population between the unification of Italy in 1861 to the last census date, 2011, and you can see that the population, resident population declined firmly since the 50s until at least 201. This is the most recent data. So this is the minimum of population. Then start another story. This is a phase 2, I call it phase 2, from 2009 days. When the resident population increases, first at the lower base and then at the higher base. I set this important date, 1997, and we will see why, because this is an important date when this city underwent an unexpected landing of huge number of immigrants and refugees. So, just a picture of two different periods. The periods of 1997, that important events, when the population was not increasing, natural increase is 0, net migration is negative, means that this was a land of emigration, and there was a high percentage of old age population, 20% of old age population. So at that data, immigration was very low, and the statistical institute doesn't record the number of immigrants at this level. We know that at the census, the closest census, 2001, the foreign population in this city, the resident population was only 20. The picture today is completely different. So, just a moment. This is the distribution of the population by sex and age, and you can see here the history, this orientation. So this is the proportion of population, is the missing people by immigration. This is the picture today, the 1st January of this year, the latest figures. The total population is increased at 2,350 residents to the total population. The foreign now are 532. The percentage of foreign population is very high compared to the average of Italy and the region, is more than almost 23%. Natural, this is important because different structure of Italian and foreign population. And this is very important because now immigrants are not only, this is a very important component of the population, not only in size, but in structure, because you can see natural increase in demographic terms in the demography is the difference between the number of newborn and the number of deaths. Now is for foreign population is positive, 11, Italian population is 2, and net migration is positive for foreign population, 62, and higher than the Italian population. But now the net migration difference by immigrants and immigrants is positive also for Italians. Means that these small size cities, small, is attracting also Italians. The percentage of all the population for the Italian residents is almost the same, so it's an old population. But the component, the influence of the immigrants make the population on the total younger. So, in this small city, now there are 28 different countries of origin, different This is the list, and this is the number of peasants.
You don't have any Greek.
Of course.
And you have 3 Germans.
So, what's that? I'm trying to explain. So, this is the land, 1992, the shock, the external shock. The Ionic shores of Calabria became landing destination of the refugees. This is the number of refugees on the summer. 838 cars simply refugee land on the beach of the solution, what is the solution? This is not a national plan. This is a spontaneous answer by local population and institutions. With a leader, this is fundamental. The leader, this is Domenico Locarno. This was a volunteer, first volunteer for the refugees, then founded an association, Città Futura, for this name, and since 2004 is the manager of this small-sized city. What is the project of this association and of the manager? Make this small-sized city a model of micro-local hospitality. There are 2 projects. The second is just a revival and consolidation of the previous one, with the aim, importantly, give hospitality, integrate migrants, and foster economic and demographic development.
What does the word città mean?
Città dell'accoglienza means city of hospitality. There are 4 lines, this is continuous, 4 lines of intervention. First, the recovery of the real estate asset of the city. So there was a lot of old and empty building left by the immigrants, the Italian immigrants, and they was used to accommodate refugees and also host tourists. The important thing is not only traditional tourist, but a special case also. It is a social tourist. Then another line of intervention is because it's still going, the urban renewal of the public spaces. So open and closed for the aggregation and socialization for both community and the refugees. And then the start, this is the economic aspect, the start of small handicraft businesses which rediscover the traditions and involves immigrants, both by private citizens, association and cooperative companies. The last aspect is the promotion and examination of the project. So this is just the road,
Main road.
Yes, Riace, city of hospitality. This is the brand. This is exactly the brand of this city. And the list of all the citizenship present in the city. So, another important aspect. So, one important thing is that these local population and the institutions, the national front, faced a lot of difficulties in coordinating with national programs for asylum seekers and refugee protection. What is the answer? The answer was the euro Riace. It is the money, a voucher. Okay? It is a new money just for Riace to be spent by immigrants waiting for the national funds. So they can spend, but only in Riace. So this is a way to help the economy of the So, just for summing up what happened in this democratic city. Two things before conclusion. Russia reacted to an external shock by using the unexpected flows of refugees and immigrants, different definitions, as an instrument of resettlement and local economic development. Russia represents an example of positive integration and social cohesion till in presence of massive immigration. What is, so, Russia is just a case, okay? What we can learn by Russia? We can learn at least 4 things. That a path of development can be undertaken also by not only small, but small cities, even if they are placed in unfavorable context. That the development has to be based on local resources and strengths. That development needs willpower and creativeness of local actors and institutions. Finally, I think this is very the importance of contingent actions. Finally, if this model can be reproduced in other places, I think so. And there are some examples in the same region that apply similar models. But, according to me, the repeatability might be constrained by the level itself of the migration, so the size of the migration and the size of the city. This model is sustainable. This is a crucial point. In the long run, this is the point, the long run perspective. Growth could be limited by the structure of the local economy, in this case, traditional economic activities. And this is another critical point, the possible constraint by national programs on asylum seekers and refugees and national immigration policies that could be in contact with this model. Thank you.
The young Seth is a research professor at the University of Foreign Studies.
I came from Korea, South Korea, and thank you very much for the opportunity, invaluable opportunity to introduce my country to you. And the title is Beauty of Nature and scenery, beautiful scenery of a smart city, and a tragic history and future vision of 통영. Another name is Chungmu, and another nickname called Naples of Korea, because of its beauty. And here, 통영 has a historical meaning, significance. It means control headquarters, marine headquarters there, 통영. And Chungmu is a royal warrior, admirer who fought Japanese arms. And I'm working in the University of Busan. Is a great harbor near to Japan, and you can see. This map is inverse and upside down. Korea is here, and we are in Mediterranean Sea. And this one is North Pole, and it's South Pole. And here Korea, and near to Korea, you can see Japan. Japan consists of 4 islands, and Korea and Japan is neighbors, and has a tragic history between us. Here, 통영 lies. Yeah, Korea is here. You can see. And this line shows the traffic of commerce. And here we go to Alaska. And here, and this one is Japan, white color. And in China, and such kind of things. We have many relations, commercial relations with China, because China has lots of population and a great market for Korea. And you know, we sell cellular phone, Samsung. Everyone knows Samsung company, but someone does not know Samsung belongs to Korea. Introduction to southern seaside. I see. The 통영 lies here. This one, Korea, and those four is above, yeah, upside down. I will introduce a city here. Here, blue color here, and I'm working in here, Busan, resort. And I will introduce to you this city. And this city has, near to this city, we have a great island. Here, shipbuilding company. There are many bricks coming, and here also, and upwards, here we have company, a great company of great shipbuilding called Hyundai. Hyundai, many cars here. Shipbuilding company, and here we have 4 or 5 companies shipbuilding. You don't know. You know just Hyundai, but other shipbuilding companies here. And again, steel company is here, this seaside. As you see, there are very complicated seaside here, and has its beauty. And 통영 is here, meaning headquarters in history, marine headquarters. Yeah. And again, here. And just a moment, I will introduce distance, southern part. It's Pacific Ocean, you know, as you saw, it's Pacific Ocean, and here, very lots of islands, and this part from here, and you see this dotted area we call a small island between 통영 and 거제, this island, a small island called 한산 Island. Han means leisure, San means mountain, leisure mountain island. There was a headquarters, marine headquarters 400 years ago when Japanese invaded Korea. We say Korean-Japanese War. It is a different history from the modern, the 20th century. 20th century, Korea was a colony, Japanese colony, you know, 37 years, and we were exploited very much. And there is a tragic history for women who were exploited as sex slaves, and the history, the problem continues to be discussed until today. Anyway, this area, we call, this one is Hansan Island, from here, about here, and until another city, Yosu. Yosu is, Yo means beautiful. Su means water, beautiful water. And Hansan, from Hansan to Yosu, we call Hanryo. Hanryo, water road. Water road. This area consists this area about all of it 500 square kilometers, and one side 23 kilometers. So beautiful, and I will introduce to you. This one is ancient map of Tongyong, 100 top hectares, and this one is ancient, and this is today's aspect. And then this one, Tongyong is here, and this one is an island. We put bridge. This bridge is a long bridge called Cable Stay Bridge, like Rio and Rio, but the length is 8.3 kilometers. It's a long bridge, and submarine tunnel, and the upside on the sea, bridge, open bridge, and the tunnel bridge. The distance is 8.3 kilometers. It's a great. This one, from here to two islands, and this road continues to Busan. It's a great road, and shorten the distance until Tongyong, from Busan to Tongyong. This one is submarine tunnel, and the same bridge, the open area, and cable stayed bridge. And from now on, you see the beautiful scenery of Hanryo water road. Okay. And some pictures. This was the lighthouse. And so we cannot see the horizon of water because Sumsumen Islands and Hanryo-Sudo consist of 500 islands, just Hanryo-Sudo. That is all the same. And Hanryo-Sudo, 500 square kilometers, 25% consists of land and 75 sea. You see, this one is a traditional house of Korea. Korean, Japan, Chinese is the same. We are common element. And Hanryo-Sudo, beautiful island, isn't it? And this one is another bridge line and ancient weather site in the Korean-Japanese war. In the end of 6th century, there island and the land, it was connected. This one is another city. It lies at the west side. I show you. You can't remember, but Gwangyang to the west of Tongyang. This one is in Busan. So we say Sunbelt from Busan to West End. Sunbelt is a cluster of industry, and Tongyang lies in the middle of Sunbelt industry cluster. In Busan, you see the scene of Busan. Today's Korea is like America. It's the same culture and aspect America. Okay, we say today Los Angeles and evening Seoul. A move coming directly because so many lines of air. This one is another bridge. This one, the bridge is west end. This one is again better side at the Korean-Japanese border, and we put bridge. This one is a steel company, Hyundai. You know, Hyundai, making car. Hyundai steel company. And this one is Pohang. It's beyond of Hyundai. It makes steel, stainless steel. America and Japan and Germany import the steels, innovated steel from Pohang. So people say that Hamburg in Germany now declined. They went to Hamburg. Why Hamburg is so declined? The people says this one Pohang, Korea, cause of Korea, Hamburg is very out of decline. Pohang, steel company. The Gwangyang is the south seaside. I have shown to you Gwangyang Steel Company. And Pohang Steel Company and Gwangyang Steel Company is sisters. One is east area and is one west area. Because the people in western area protested. So we should have steel company like Pohang, and later it was good. And I want to tell you, Tongyang is a great city for art because it has beautiful scene. There is a great author and artist, and 2 or 3 things I will introduce to you. Here, home of art. Composer of Asia anthem called Lee Yun-sung. He was a student in the Eastern Berlin in 1967, but he was pursued by the suspicion of espionage. We have a history called East Berlin espionage incident, and innocent students were arrested. Lots of students arrested, and to combat and prison in jail. But Lee Yun-sung was not arrested, but he could not come back to his hometown, Tongyang. And we have heard that Lee Yun-sung national anthem, Korea's national anthem, we call today. But he was pursued, and we have heard he came to from Japan. He wanted to his hometown, but he could not come into Korea, and died exterior land. It was a very sympathetic episode. And great novelist. And one point I will introduce to you. Here, one point, just one point. And flag. The title is flag. Yu Chi-hwan. He was died by car accident. Flag. It's very. This is a flag, per flag, the point. This is a shouting without voice and handkerchief of everlasting nostalgia that swings towards that blue deep sea. Deep sea means blue sky. Pure love floating in the wind at the end of the road. Of absolutely clear and straight ideal. serene sorrow spreads its feather like a white heron. Oh, who was it who on the world first knew to hang up in the air such a grieved and mournful soul? My loving poet, and a short time span to this.
So we have reached the end of the presentations, and I would like to thank all 6 presenters. And I want to ask if there are any questions or any comments that you want to raise.
Or if you are hungry.
You are hungry. But yeah, we have time for discussion, comments, intervention.
I would like to ask a question to Jan. What kind of tourists are attracted in to Tongan? Local tourists or
foreign tourists, random yet. Foreign tourists come to Busan or other places, but they do not know Tongan. But Tongan is well known for us. And there is a hometown accommodating artists, novelists or artists. Yeah, it's a very beautiful city. And if you have opportunity to come to Korea, visit Tongan.
I'm very impressed by the number of bridges connecting all the islands. Very impressed.
Each event. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question to branding chat.
Come here. I'm trying to escape you.
You try to escape.
I'm going to send him with your car to Athens. So you have 2 hours. 2 hours.
You saved the message again. I reserved the...
No, come on. I say that.
Now you can ask the question for the benefit of the others now. Okay. You're going to have him for 3 hours. So
Okay. I'll ask the concise one, the short one. Okay. So you often try and get from the culture, from the people, what is unique, and you say, you know, what's the 3 things that, and you often don't get sufficient answers. Can we, now that you've explained the emphasis behind the purpose of why you asked that, can we ask maybe the president, and maybe even involve Gregory into the, just so we can create a bit of a discussion here, what do you think is now, on hindsight, the 3 most unique things about Sardinia that we should try and...
That's a very good question. I would say, with the exception of this conference.
No, let me specify that, because I'm impressed that you didn't understand from the beginning. What the brand of this village is me.